Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago. Let's go, go. It's a brand new morning. Rise up to a brand new
Good morning, and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. I am your host, Shenell Felix, and this morning we continue our conversations by talking about the Tobago horticulture market. Now, to have this conversation with me, I have in studio Mr. Paul Crooks, who is a veterinary officer at the Division of Food Security. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
Now, the Division of Food Security, Natural Resources, and the Environment and Sustainable Development has been doing a number of things since the Tobago World Food Day. And now we have this. Tell us how this is a part of the overall celebrations.
Absolutely. So, World Food Day is about appreciation and recognition of farmers, about, in this case, for 2024, the theme is right to foods for a better life and a better future. And we are trying to emphasize here in Tobago through working under the umbrella of the Food and Agriculture Organization, who pushes this World Food Day every year, that food is a right. Everyone is entitled to it. Now, viewers would be aware, especially if they're living in certain areas, that the giant African snail is a major issue on the island. And as a result of that, we decided with our grand World Food Day exhibition that we would have to necessarily separate the plant aspect. So we're talking decorative plants, ornamental plants, flowers, seedlings for crops of all types, produced by farmers, produced by sellers from around the island. We'll have, of course, the division's very own stations that would sell and give away plants. We have sponsors and partner agencies. And that plant aspect is, of course, very important, not just to our environment and sustainability, not just important for beautification, but also important as a source of food. And we're not just talking source of food for humans per se, but depends on what you're looking for. You might find good feedstuffs for animals as well. So the idea with the horticulture market is to separate the plant section, I guess, of the World Food Day event. And the reason we do that is because we have to do a fumigation process of the plants. We want to ensure, as far as possible, from the division's end, that a consumer who goes today or tomorrow to purchase a plant knows that they're not going to be taking a giant African snail to their house if they've never had that snail there before.
Right.
So we had to ask our suppliers, our vendors, to come in early, bring their plants, have the plants treated, and have them housed at the food hub so that by the time the consumers show up today, the plants are safe, the plants are free of giant African snail, and we could talk more about giant African snail and the impacts on the environment and the impacts on plants and agriculture, but really that is the reason that the horticulture market has been separated, and also how it is linked to overall World Food Day celebration.
Excellent. And that is happening today, November the 6th, as well as tomorrow, November 7th. So basically, this is World Food Day Take Two. But this is specifically focused on the horticulture market. Do you think that you would be seeing the same level of patronization that you saw for that initial World Food Day celebration down there at the food hub?
Not necessarily so, and I'll tell you why. Now, yes, we're going to have a number of patrons, and in fact, for the last 2 years, we've had the World Food Day event at the Shore Park Food Hub, and what we've recognized is that people still come looking for plants on those days. So it is indeed a very popular thing. However, having or being removed and separated from the World Food Day Grand Exhibition means we don't get the school kids coming in where the schools would normally organize the big maxis and the whole class would come down and that sort of thing. We unfortunately don't get that type of traffic on
Right.
these days. But people will run away from work as usual. They'll come down to see what's going on. They'll hear the noise. They'll see the signs. They'll come in and say, what's going on over here? One. And then through the promotion, through the various vendors doing their own promotions, we expect a good crowd. In fact, last year, the horticulture market was initially going to just be one day. And because of popular demand, we had to extend it to 2 days. So that is why this year we ended up doing it 2 days. Right from the start, we planned for a 2-day event because it is that popular. So not quite the level of patronage that we saw with the World Food Day Grand Exhibition. However, still quite a number of people will be coming through. We also have other persons who are there, other participants. So if you come for plants, you may stay to have a meal or to buy some local food, because at the Food Hub, we tried our best in our planning to utilize the space as effectively as possible. And you have containers from which people sell food and so on. So you're not just seeing plants, you're not just interacting with vendors of seedlings, but there are other things on show and on display as well. And regarding the giant African snail, the reason we are taking it seriously, the giant African snail poses a human health threat, potentially, where the giant African snail can transmit the rat lungworm. So even though it's a rat disease, really, the worm can get into the human, and then when it gets into the human, it can erratically migrate, including the parasite can go to your brain and cause problems. So we are generally going to say, if you see a giant African snail, one, and you don't know for sure it's a giant African snail, you can take a picture and you can submit it to anybody working in the division. We have, all our numbers are out there, extension officers and so on, but you can message me directly at 383-4451, questioning, is this a giant African snail? One. Two, do not handle a giant African snail with your bare hands ever. If you suspect it is a giant African snail, you should be gloved. You can use a plastic bag to grip it. Three, giant African snails should not be crushed, or, people like to throw salt and things on the snails and the slugs and so the leeches that they see. They should not be crushed and they should not be killed in that manner, because when they are stressed, a giant African snail may just release its clutch of eggs. And if you step on the snail with your boot, the clutch of eggs will not be crushed. Trust me, especially if it's in a grassy area. And that means a giant African snail adult, and they are adults once they are greater than 2 inches long. An adult that releases eggs could release 50 to 500 eggs in one clutch.
Wow.
So you may destroy a snail thinking you're doing a good thing, but actually release 500 juvenile snails for later on that you now have to deal with. So our recommendation is that once you confirm it is an African snail, we don't want to kill the local snails, but once you confirm it is a giant African snail, that you capture them and put them in a bucket, and in that contained space, you either use a super saturated salt solution, so that even if you stir it up, there's still salt you're seeing in the container, or you use bleach and destroy the snails.
Okay, excellent. And so coming back to the horticulture market that is happening today and tomorrow, it's starting at 10 a.m. and going straight up to 6 p.m. So tell us what persons can expect when they come in. Is it going to be as entertaining as the previous World Food Day celebrations we saw a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, so for this year's World Food Day, we are doing a series of events, and we intend for all of them to be entertaining, and including the horticulture market. People who came to the World Food Day event looking for plants, if you left disappointed, today and tomorrow is your day. Right. 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the Shore Park Food Hub. Please come by to see what is on offer. I guarantee you will see something that you want for your home, for your neighborhood, or for you to try to establish an at-home garden, or so maybe with the children, you can work with them to grow and learn. We really want to push that we try to eat more local food. We try to get more small producers who are producing and reducing their grocery bill every month, but also that the children learn that agriculture is a good thing to pursue, is a necessary thing to pursue. Food security and food sovereignty is one of the major goals of the Tobago House of Assembly and the Division of Food Security in particular under Secretary Natisha Charles-Pantin. So we really want to push that persons work to feed themselves. So come by and see what's on offer. There are many, many, many plants. There are persons selling food. There are other persons who are selling many other items related to plants. Fertilizer, there's a fantastic coconut growth medium that is available where people are using our local coconut husks as a media for growth of plants, and it's fantastic, it's novel, and it works really well.
Excellent. And so should parents be passing by the food hub this evening after they pick up their kids from school?
Absolutely.
And bringing them to be a part of that celebration?
That is why we are open until 6 p.m. We want people to come by after work, come by during your lunch hour, come by when you're free, when you could run away during the day, come by with the kids later and have a discussion, talk about the climate, talk about the environment, talk about sustainable farming and agriculture practices, and the necessity for the growth and production of local foodstuff.
Right, and that's the horticulture market that's happening at the Food Hub today, November the 6th and 7th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. You know, all members of the public are invited to come out and be a part of that. And if you want to call to possibly book for a group to come by, you can call 639-4616. You can get your plants, whether it be to decorate around your house or around your office, or just find out what are the latest plant supplies and what's happening in plant growth technology that's available to you. So before we wrap up this morning's discussion, why do you think it is important for persons to come out and support? And do you have any, final remarks?
Yes. So even though this morning's discussion was focused on the horticulture market that is happening today and tomorrow, the World Food Day series of events is continuing. And I would ask that viewers go on to the Division of Food Security's Facebook page to look at the calendar of events and see what is upcoming and so on. We have a Women in Agriculture event, we have the Lamb Festival, we have a lot coming up, and each of those events is being promoted separately, promoted with collaborators and so on. And with the horticulture market, today is the day for plants. Today and tomorrow, if you're looking for plants, if you went to that World Food Day Grand Exhibition and you missed out on those, today and tomorrow, come by and see what's on offer.
Right. And so to be a part of those other celebrations that the division is having to commemorate World Food Day, persons can go onto that Facebook page. On Facebook, it's the Division of Food Security, Natural Resources, and the Environment and Sustainable Development. And they can find all of the material regarding everything that's happening there.
Yes.
So that's it for you here this morning. We are looking forward to being a part of that horticulture market down at the Food Hub. And we're encouraging Tobagonians to come out to be a part of that, to support the initiatives that are happening. I guess it's a bit too late now to come out and show your plants, seeing that the plants need to be fumigated, but you can come out and see something that you possibly have the ability to be a part of next year.
That's correct.
Right? And are you also encouraging persons to come in and show interest in being a part of the horticulture market for 2025?
Well, absolutely. So, as I said, we are trying to encourage younger persons to recognize the value in agriculture. Not just agriculture, of course, but ornamental plants, beautification, recognition of the importance of plants in the environment, in keeping the temperature down, in microclimates, ecosystems. There's a lot to learn from what is on display today, from having discussions with vendors. And listen, agriculture could be lucrative, and so could ornamental plants. you can run a business well using science to support your I suppose your culture and your environment and your growth and so on, the physiology of the plants. You can use science to modify and grow and be incredibly successful in agriculture. So for younger persons who are looking into careers and pathways for your life, this is a fantastic opportunity, and you yourself may be one of the vendors next year.
Excellent. Thank you so much, guys. I want to thank you, Mr. Crooks, for coming on and representing the division as well as the horticulture market and giving us all the information that we need to come and be a part of that and possibly even be involved in that come next year. Guys, we want to thank you so much for being a part of this morning's discussions. We want to thank you for your likes, your shares, and your comments, and all that you have been doing to make Tobago Updates the #1 broadcaster here on the island of Tobago. So, guys, have a great day and see you soon.
It's a brand new morning.